Grand Rise, and Divine Day. Blessed be. May it be everything you require to create everything that you desire. Until you master it, it's free. It's free reign. The value can be set. Exceeding values, undercutting the value until you master it. I'm talking about the aspects of yourself. Until you set the tone of mastering your emotions and bringing them in balance. Until you understand that mastering the external state before you get the internal in order will always leave you needing and wanting more. Trying to master the external state. What is only a reflection of you. Trying to master that before you master the internal work will always leave you needing and wanting more. As we think about the moon day, we think about the shifts, we think about our elevation, we think about our growth. Usually we think about the external values that we set on things. We set a value, we stay by that value, we stand by that value. This is why I don't do this. But if we're not doing it from the aspect of being transparent, if we're not doing it from a space that is being transparent in ourselves, then that boundary can always be manipulated that we put into our lives. This is the key of, if I say that I am self, I am law, I am master, that means everything that comes up after I make this statement, after I set this affirmation, everything that comes up after this is the things that I have to master. The things that, since I was humble enough to speak that affirmation, similar to when I do my workouts, when I first get up at the gym, I set the intention. So the key of setting your intention is so you don't have to touch it. The key of setting your intention is so you don't have to touch it. Like the first couple of minutes on the treadmill, I'll say for every drop of sweat is representations of my alignment to my abundance, my prosperity, and my wealth, my greatness, my openness, my expansion. Every drip of sweat. So then throughout my workout, without me even having to do it, without me even having to say it, even though I'm counting myself in how many seconds before I go back into another rep, that's playing in the background in my mind to go with that 30-second count. So I'm doing it to my 30-second count naturally. This is you mastering your inner, this is mastering the internal and being transparent about what you're mastering. Being honest about what you're able to do. This is that key, because if you set that point in your mind and you're trying to keep the external state together, what you were used to, what you was gravitating your energy from, when you actually get the challenge to expand, what you're actually doing is constricting. You'll always go back, individuals always go back to their natural state based upon where they are at in their healing. An individual that does not heal, an individual that does not become open, or an individual that is not cultivating their subconscious in those ways, when it comes time for it to be tested, stepping into that position saying that I am great, I am master, I am love, I am light, I am peace, I am dark, I'm one of these aspects. When it comes to be tested, that's where the drawback comes from. You will shut down almost immediately. That's the state of, I was doing some consultations yesterday. I usually don't do them on Sundays. I said, the spirit came through. When we think about procrastination, we give it a negative undertone. Like, I don't feel like doing anything, even though I know I should be doing this, this, and this. You being in that position, when procrastination hits, this is one of those moments when you must be transparent to yourself. Why am I putting this off? Is this really me? These become questions that you ask yourself to get that answer to for understanding. You're not getting the answer that because what's happened with most people when they build this external state to stay in instead of mastering. And mastering is honesty, transparency, acceptance, and responsibility. Instead of mastering it, we put ourselves into a position to where we still can connect to it as an attachment. Therefore, we're not dealing with the urge. It's an imbalance. So the only reason that I do this, or I'm doing this because of this, I'm trying to always get a reaction. Because my mind is existing within the reaction. This becomes that thought whenever you're clearing yourself out for the day. You're smudging yourself, you're setting yourself, you're doing your meditation, you're setting your affirmations, you're setting your intentions. This is one of those things where this is where that honesty is. The honesty is that ultimate key for you. Why are you doing something? Are you doing it to master it so you can set your own value? Or are you doing it based on setting the value for something else or someone else? This is you embracing your power. Until you master it, it's free. Until you master your anger, someone else can use it for free. You become a slave to the emotion. Until you master the behavior, until you master the emotion, you'll always be free. You'll always be free for someone else to use. Until you handle the trauma, you'll always be free for somebody to use. Until you master that aspect in your shadow work, someone will always be able to take free reign in your life. Because you have no boundaries set for yourself. In reflection, you see what no boundaries get you. That's your correspondence. That's you being in that space with that correspondence. You keep going around this because it symbolizes what? What does that symbol mean to you? What are you holding on to based on that symbol? This is honesty. This is you mastering yourself. Because once you realize, and this is where a lot of people don't actually embrace it, you are creating the forms and the dimensions in your mind and creating this real-time aspects of aptitudes around you. Is it based on, are you creating to elevate and to ascend, which is what I would call from scratch, you're calling the alchemy or terraforming? Or are you creating based on the reaction of the space? That's terraforming. A lot of us form our bonds and form everything that we do based on terror. We want an economic plan in reaction. We want to sustain this aspect of our life in reaction to something. It's time to step out of the reaction role. It's time to stop making yourself be free. Think about it. You look for things to be free because it's a false sense. It's because you're free. The ones that look for the most free shit usually are the most free with their emotions, the most free with their thoughts. And this is just something to really think about. Everybody likes a deal, but everybody also has a price. What is your price? What is your value? These are the things that we get into to actually start working within our shadow self. Dealing with those things, those aspects that are not necessarily something we need others to see. Becoming open outside of the aspect of, if I do this, then this is going to happen because I knew that was going to happen. Stop living in the past and existing in your future, existing in the present. The longer that you live in your past, live in those old thoughts, is the longer that you live in your past. You live in your past, you only exist in your present. Since your present is now in existence, based on the illusion of you live from where you living at, you'll never see the future. You'll never see the future. You can never create anything of the future because your mind is living in the past. So now your emotions and your behaviors are existing while you're living back here. This is an aspect of mastering yourself. I want you to be fucking great. I want you to be the best. But in order for you to become the best, you have to shed the humanity. You have to shed the left brain aspects, unlearn the left brain, and tap into your right brain. There's a process. And if you need aiding on that process, in the description is the links to the G.O.D Alchemist LLC.com, the number, the services, from readings, natal chart analysis, set up that consultation. This week we get into terraforming on the God Hour podcast. Stay tuned for that link. Share, let the knowledge do what it's supposed to do. And I just want you to be the fucking best. From this moment forward, you are self, you are law, you are master. The things that come up are the things that you must master in order to carry that title. I love you. We love us. Asha.